Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We have a real special one to do today, and by special I mean Pisces. And you guys are really close to my heart. I have a lot of Pisces friends. I'm a Scorpion, and you know, the relationship between Scorpio and Pisces is for the most part legendary. We are such a match in so many ways. And I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain, first of all, I think I'm going to start this video explaining my personal take on Pisces, and then I'm going to move into the shadow side of Pisces. So I have my scotch today because I feel like I'm going to need it. I'm going to have a sip of that. Scotch on the rocks. And I found this beautiful illustration of a mermaid it's a book cover of a book that from Time Life. It's a series of books that I'm using for the imagery of these videos in this Dark Side of the Astrology series. And I thought it's just a really perfect and fitting vibrational energetic match for the Pisces, a mermaid. If you're a Pisces out there, you probably wanted to be the little mermaid because you are like a little mermaid. You probably, I think Pisces in itself wants to live in a different world. And I think of Ariel from that movie, The Little Mermaid, the animated Disney one, because she fell in love with someone that she couldn't have. She fell in love with something that she couldn't have because it's not who she was, and it was in a different world. And anything outside of this world in another world or dealing with the other side is so Pisces. So I thought it would be really fitting for today's session. Now, I might end up doing a two-part series on Pisces. We'll see how we go. We did do a two-part series for the Capricorn one, and I'll kind of reassess whether I feel like I went in hard enough or not. But just because Pisces, some of you guys are my friends, and I know a lot of people that are in the esoteric and spiritual field, a lot of you guys are Pisces. So I know like you'll be watching this one for sure, just like I know a lot of the Cancers were watching the last one I did on Cancer. And I've got a lot of DMs, but a lot of people are scared to write what they feel, because with these videos, I'm giving it to you real and I'm giving it to you raw. I'm not really concerning myself with making these videos pretty or nice. That's why I don't show my face in the videos, because I'm not here for your entertainment. This is not entertainment. I'm not here for some sensationalized nonsense. This is just me recording something that really comes from my heart and is raw, and it's really about the information that I'm sharing with you. It's not about me, and I'm able to separate that. I'm a Scorpion, I can do that. Pisces maybe can't when it comes to sharing their artwork with the world. Just on the subject of Pisces, they struggled putting themselves out there, and particularly around their art. They're very apprehensive about that. So I did have a little bit of apprehension about doing this video, but whatever. I have to go in as hard as I have with all the other signs, so I'm going to. And let's just get into it. First of all, housekeeping, sun sign only. So we're not talking about your rising or your chart or your moon. We're just looking at the straight up sun sign. And if you're functioning in a lower sun sign version, or a sun sign that is in Pisces, well, this video might resonate with you. And I've really tried to think very hard about this video and not saying things that you guys already know, because you know about the basic stuff about Pisces. So I'm really trying to think on a deeper level about how I feel about your sign in general, because I feel like if any sign is receptive enough to know about themselves, it would be Pisces anyway, because you guys always are very much into this kind of stuff. Like, you're into spirituality, you're into all that kind of, that's very Piscean. So Pisces is a mutable sign, and we've come out of that stiff fixed energy. Generally it goes from cardinal and then it goes into mutable, and that's what you are. So that's really just how you function, is that water in itself, that mutable energy, it doesn't really have a form of its own. You guys don't, like, Pisces doesn't have a shape to itself. It only can match or fill in the shape of something else that it is contained in. And Pisces like to feel safe when they're contained in other people, or someone else can contain them and make them feel safe. That's generally how they live. And they do anything they can, as you know, to escape reality or to distort reality. And I get it. I completely understand, Pisces, if you're watching this, because anything to do with mythology or magic or fantasies or any other kind of world, like Narnia, where you're like opening up a door that goes into another door. I often think of like Alice in Wonderland would be a perfect example of Pisces. Like anything that's otherworldly, that's coming from another world, because you know that you are the last sign in the zodiac, you're the oldest sign in the zodiac, and in some cultures Pisces is actually called the ancient ones, and I'll get onto that a little bit later, I think. But for now, like, you just want to, like, for the most part, you guys just want to live in a magical fantasy world. And to build a relationship with you, or to have a partnership with a Pisces, you have to be able to come into that world. And they want to live in this magical garden. And you've got to kind of come down into that garden and be a part of that with them, and be able to create a container in there where you just feel safe. But the only problem is that garden is separated from reality, and therein lies your biggest problem is, bitch, you're here. You're physically here, and you are living and breathing, and you haven't gone back to the other world yet. You haven't gone back to the other side yet. And so that would lead me to share a bit of information about myself, which I've never really told many people until right now, like publicly. I have lost... Shit, I'm just thinking, fuck. I've lost 7 Pisces now in my life. And when I say lost, it's not like, oh, my keys, where did they go? I don't know where I put them. I'm talking like they are no longer here in the physical world. They're dead. They suicide. Pisces is a sign that has I would say, has the highest suicide rate in the world. No matter what your ethnicity, no matter what country you're born in, this sign has the highest rate of suicides. These guys self-destruct. They melt down, and they melt into nothing, and they disappear. And I will say this about a Pisces, looking back very fondly at a lot of Piscerian friends that I've had over the years, and some of them didn't suicide. I just had to let them go out of my life. I never forget them. I never forget a Pisces, because there is something very special about them, and Scorpio recognizes that. If anyone can recognize it, a Scorpio can. And I have to take a minute to acknowledge that, because it is so hard just for a Pisces to just exist in this world. You guys really... It's like, yeah, we've got 2 fish swimming in opposite directions. One part of you wants to be here and is physically partaking in life, and the other part of you has checked out or doesn't want to be here at all. And these 2 fish are pulling on each other, and they're swimming in opposite directions, and it feels like they're not going anywhere. And the only way, if you're a Pisces and that relates to you and you can really understand what I just said, my suggestion to you would be both. Have the time where you're able to dive deep and explore your mystical, magical side and escape from reality, whether that's through video games, cosplays. You know, you Pisces fucking love that cosplay shit where you're dressing up as characters. Anything to get you, like, honor that side of you. But and then honor the side of reality, which you guys really struggle with, which is the day-to-day mundane of life, which would just be like breathing could be an effort for you guys, like feeding yourself, brushing your teeth, going to work, living in a world that has restraints. And Pisces is the sign of imprisonment. So you guys tend to gravitate towards things that trap you a lot. And you know they do too, because that being trapped has a form of sense of being trapped in a relationship or a workplace. For Pisces, the dark side of it would be that they feel contained because something else is containing them, even if it's bad for them. So there's a lot of that going on. I really hope that made sense. And that's why I'm going to really take my time with this video and explain Pisces as much as I can. In a way that's very real. So you've got this divided energy that's kind of coexisting at one time. So I would say you have to be both, because if you go too far into one side, you'll become cold, and then you'll shut down that part of you that needs to exist, which is the imagination. And then if you go too much into the imagination, well, then you're never going to be able to pay your rent. You're never going to be able to exist in the world, because this world is based on capitalism. It's based on asking you to partake in the world and contribute to society. And so if a Pisces, particularly an artist Pisces, which there are so many of them because they are very artistic and very expressive, if you can find a way to support yourself through your art, then you're on the right path. So I would say that first up, when it comes to them, to a Pisces in general. So you have a very seductive side as an artist. You really want to check out of reality. Any types of art. So it could be anything to do with expressionism. You guys love to perform and you love playing characters. And I often think of LA. LA would be a very Piscean city, because it's a place where everyone comes to be something that they're not, or they're coming to be a character of something. And there's lots of alcohol and there's lots of drugs. It's a very seductive side. Pisces deals with seduction. It deals with exploring the darker undercurrents of life, much a little bit like Pisces. So these guys, like anything that can distort their experience because it's so raw and so rough, just walking out on the street and having busy traffic and loud noises and sharp, bright, harsh light shining in your eyes. Like, it's too much. Like, it's all too severe. Like, I feel like I'm channeling it right now. Like, that's how I see you guys seeing the world. You look around and you see all this suffering and all this pain and all of this, all of this hell. Like, a frozen hell is hell on earth. And, you just want to check out of it. So anything that can distort your sense of reality or distort the lens that you see life through is your way of living. So I feel like a lot of Pisces, they create a bubble. They create a bubble that they get into, and then they live in that bubble. And that's their coping mechanism for life. And that can be very seductive in the terms of being an artist. But, if you're using alcohol or drugs to make art, then that's probably not a good thing, because on the dark side of Pisces, when you guys come down and you come crashing down from like being on drugs, it's just such a hard fall for you, and you guys need a soft place to land. Although usually you guys are always a soft place to land and have no sense of self-care. So it's always like that Pisces thing as well, which you guys are natural caretakers, where you care about everyone else except yourself. And then it's like you can't pour from an empty cup because you can't give what you don't have. Pisces tend to get around stronger signs like the Scorpio, because they feel protected by those more like the Leos, the Sagittarius, the Aries, the Scorpions, because those signs are able to express what Pisces can't in a very direct way. Pisces really don't have a voice box, much like the Cancer. They have trouble expressing what they want to say from a vocal point of view. The throat chakra is very closed with Pisces in general. So if you've got a light-sided Pisces, then their communication skills would be excellent. I'd have to look at your chart though to see like what Mercury you've got in there, whether it's coming from Virgo side or whether it's coming from the Gemini side. But a really dark-sided Pisces has very poor communication skills. We're looking at a dark-sided Pisces man, for example, would be a man that's just a straight up alcoholic. I've never come across a Pisces in my life to this day. I'm 35, where I've met a Pisces that hasn't at some point struggled or is in some struggle currently with an addiction. And that addiction could be alcohol, food, drugs, sex. It could be an addiction to like just anything, like even an addiction to a feeling, an addiction to playing a character, an addiction to a movie. They have to be addicted to something. This is how these guys feel good, is when they're running on that high energy. They love that buzz. They love the chase of a new love. That's how Pisces are. This sign loves being in love. They love being loved, and they need to be loved, and they need to receive that love. And, this sign is compatible because it is the oldest sign, my little fishy friends. You guys are able to bond and connect with any other sign. you're like a lock, and any other sign can be a key that just fits into your sign. Any sign is mutable and workable with a Pisces. And so depending on the chart, because Pisces is such a complicated sign, and I've been really learning a lot about you guys, is that if you have a lot of, say, a particular other sign more in your chart, then you'll be able to deeply understand more how to connect with that sign if you're wanting to have a relationship with them. And that's one thing. Pisces know how to give you what you need, but Pisces have no sense of what they need, because Pisces is boundless. They are boundless. They have no boundaries. The concept of boundary to a Pisces is the biggest revelation that a Pisces can ever have in their life. When they realize that they have boundaries and that they need to assert those boundaries and put that barrier around themselves, that's when they can start living. But until a Pisces can actually do that and recognize that, where they end and the other person begins, they're fucked. They are absolutely fucked. They will be at the mercy of everything around them. They'll be at the mercy of that woman that was rude to them in the shop. They'll be at the mercy of that school teacher that bullied them at school. They will never let go of anything. Pisces have a hard time letting go of anything. So they can merge with any energy, and no one can do it better than them. They're unbelievably good like that. Now, the downside of this is that they pick up on other people's feelings, because Pisces is naturally the most psychic sign. And so I will say, I need a sip of the drink while I'm talking. Hope you're enjoying this video so far. Where was I? There's so much going on in my head right now. This may have to be a part 2 to this video. Pisces is boundless in the sense that it can merge with any energy. And when, say for example, they pick up the dark sides in other signs, and that mirrors back to them. So I'll say that again, and I'll explain it a little bit more in a case in point. It's being with a Pisces is like being in a mirror house. They mirror everything around them back to you. And they do this from the heart. Gemini does this from the mind. So Pisces, to me, is the equal superpower that Gemini is. Gemini mirrors your mind and shows your psyche back to you psychologically. Pisces shows your heart back to you. They are reflectors, and they show truth of who you are back to you, whether it's positive or negative. And so, say for example, you've been out on the booze all night, knocking back the drinks, and you're having a really bad hangover the next morning. Pisces around you will feel that hangover and get hungover too. And then they may even absorb your hangover. I know this sounds so crazy, but I've seen this happen. This is real. So these guys will pick up on your bad mood. They'll become in a bad mood. And then when you get out of a bad mood around them, you look at them and be like, why are you in a bad mood? Pisces doesn't know. Pisces just feels. That's all these guys do, is feel. And that's why a lot of their lives are absolute fuck ups. The dark side of Pisces, and this is going to sound harsh, Pisces, and I know it's going to hurt, but it's the truth. You are a living, breathing fuck up. You really are. Until you can realize boundary, you are boundless. You are a slave to your emotions. We talked about that with the Cancers. When you're running from a place of living off your emotions and making decisions based on your emotions, there's no logic in that. So you're going to get hurt every single time. Your emotions are going to control what you eat. They're going to control your mood, like what are you doing every day? Your emotions are going to control your productivity. Your emotions are not going to make you accountable to time, space, reality, and living in the world, which requires you to get up at this time, go to work at this time. You just can't, because you're operating from a place of subconscious that isn't really infused in reality. And so, yeah, you guys can go absolutely crazy. But for the most part, Pisces is very peaceful. This is a very peaceful sign. And these guys are very flaky. This is the sign that will show up late or won't even show up at all. So you could make plans with Pisces, and they may have been in a mindset at the time. Let me explain this to you. And I think on behalf of Pisces, I'm going to try and explain this as best as I can. When Pisces was in a good mood and they said they could take your booking, Pisces took your booking. But by the time, so they take it for a Thursday, and by the time Thursday came around and you got to Thursday, Pisces is no longer in the same mood that they were back on last Saturday when they made the booking. So Pisces is going to cancel because Pisces is moving in the currents. They're just moving in the water. And when you look at water, water itself is translucent. It doesn't really have a form. There is no form to it. So that's how they are. So if Pisces is feeling good and you've met them on a good day, then they'll go ahead with the booking. If you've met Pisces on a shift that's happened on that Wednesday, they will cancel you as a client, or they won't even message you. Pisces don't like pressure. Like, you cannot just keep piling pressure and pressure and pressure and pressure, and it just keeps building up on a Pisces. They break. They don't like that. You have to come around to them in a way that makes Pisces feel free, and you have to let them be who they are. They have to feel that you understand them and you're comfortable with them, and they have to in turn understand you. If you can get around those boundaries, okay? And if you're a Pisces out there right now, hang on, because the world is changing so much and there's so many new things in technology and everything's moving really fast, and you guys are just like, I know you guys are old school. I know you guys are. Like, you guys deep down would rather make a phone call than text. It is more personal because Pisces can get very confused a lot of the time when you're sending texts to them. They don't understand like the tone. They have trouble with tone. Oh, and that's another thing on a physical note. Pisces are one of the most beautiful signs physically. They have very small features. They tend to be very petite if they're female Pisces, and they have beautiful eyes. If they're usually soft brown eyes or very light blue or green eyes, and very translucent. Pisces sparkle best in the sun. They almost sparkle when the light's on them. They look the best when the sun is on them. I'm in direct light. Have you ever been around a Pisces around them in direct light? Wow, it's beautiful. They have very doll-like features. They look very ethereal. I would say if they were a mystical creature, most Pisces would be either a mermaid or some kind of water nymph. And they are nymphs in the bedroom too. Like, don't get me wrong. We'll get onto the sex part of Pisces in this video, or the next video I may do later, maybe. But they have a very fairy look about them on their face. They tend to look like a fairy, and they know that. I've also come across a lot of Piscerians that have Down syndrome, or even if they aren't full Down syndrome, a lot of Pisces look very Down syndrome like in the face, like the way that their face has been formed in the womb when they've come through, sources come down, and that part of where spirit has merged with physical cells and became a being, physical being. They have a lot of look about them like that. A lot of Pisces are on the spectrum as well. A lot of them don't know that they're on the spectrum, but they are on the spectrum. And the dark side of a Pisces, I will say this now, just before we get into the really darker side of the sign, because I still feel like I'm explaining this sign. The darker side of Pisces will play on that. They will always have some kind of bone disease, some kind of, they had cancer when they were a kid, or they had to have an operation when they were a kid. A lot of them come into the world sick. A lot of kids that are sick are Pisces, and they'll play on that. So they'll be like, I'm on the spectrum, and they actually expect you to feel sorry for them. The dark side of a Pisces is a professional victim. Okay, so if that resonates with you, you're playing it up a little bit, so you need to chill on that, Just saying it. I know it's hard to hear. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, maybe you already know. I mean, it can't hurt you if it's not true. That's what I've been saying in these videos the whole time. So yeah, they are very beautiful, and they look best in the sun. Okay, that's one thing that I will say about them. I feel very comfortable around a Pisces because a Pisces recognizes me, and Pisces just wants to let me be who the fuck I am. Pisces don't tend to control other people and make them their projects. That's more of a Cancerian thing. Or a Scorpio thing. Pisces don't like being judged, so they don't like to judge others. And that's kind of a way, and that in itself can also be problematic because the dark side of recognizing bad traits in someone else can get you hurt. And so a lot of young Pisces do get burned very young in their life. They get in the car with the wrong guy. They get in a relationship with the wrong guy. These guys are attracted to dysfunction. I will get onto that a little bit later. Okay, they are absolutely attracted to dysfunction. So they have a lot of unconscious experiences as child that they really, as growing up, that they don't really understand. So their dreams, they have massive dreams. They're dreamers. Their head's always off in the clouds somewhere else. They're always off out the window. They have a lot of learning problems because they weren't able to like sit still in school and just like concentrate, because yet again they're off in their head. They're not focused in the classroom. So a lot of Pisces, in the nicest way possible, are not the best when it comes to writing and reading, because they just never formed. That cognitive development never happened. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because I don't really see that as like a negative trait. What I consider negative is when your behavior hurts other people and you're not aware of it. And that can happen with that boundless thing. So yes, that's another thing I would say about Pisces. Now, Pisces do want to expand, and they do need to understand. Well, I think Pisces understand that there is a universe inside of you. Pisces knows that. And so if Pisces, they have some of the most tremendous gifts you could imagine. I have seen Pisces heal. They are natural healers. And when someone else is feeling overwhelmed and needs support, Pisces can actually be like a midwife for another person, where they're actually tongue-tied, where Pisces is actually able to help someone else birth out their own pain or work through a problem emotionally and heal them. So they're very natural. Pisces are very natural healers. If the Pisces has done the healing on themselves, let me make that clear. Remember, we looked in the other videos, you can't give what you don't have. So you have to be in a place that's able to stand up and be healed to some capacity to be able to go out and give healing to others. And so one of the biggest things that a biggest chink in their armor is that they can't help it when they see something else suffering. And Pisces sometimes can put other people before their own children. They'll put someone else before, they'll feed another mouth before they even feed their own kid. That's just how they are sometimes. I've seen that a lot of that charity work and stuff like that, but that's just a part of how they feel safe. And Pisces never get over heartbreak. That's whoever said that Pisces does is just, it's not true. They carry that with them, and you will have to unpack that with them if you're going to court a Pisces and be in a relationship with them. And Pisces knows that, and a really light Pisces wouldn't even waste time not asking for your trauma, because I know you're going to have trauma. So that the first thing a Pisces will say in a relationship, what crystals are you into? What's your sign? Let me look at your chart. When were you born? Okay. Now, what's your childhood trauma? Now, just give it to me. Give it all to me. I need to know what I'm working with. That would be something that a Pisces would do. So if you're dating a Pisces and they give you crystals, that means that they like you. These guys are natural hippie kids. So a lot of them were born around the time, I feel like there was a massive increase of Pisces being born, probably after World War II. A lot of Pisces kind of came in to heal the world. You know, these are the healers. If they can heal themselves. Yet again, dark shadow side. So yeah, I could see a Pisces with any sign. I really could. I mean, Pisces might personally feel more attracted to one sign or the other, but these guys are like, yeah, they could be mutable with anything. Okay, so yes, Pisces are very much a weak Pisces and the shadow side of Pisces. That's what we're here for. They are big gossips. So they love the hot tea. They've got to spill that tea. This could be like the old church lady in church. It's always getting involved in other people's business. They sometimes can't help keep secrets. So they can't help but spill the secret, and particularly if the secret that you're giving them is like a dilemma, like a moral dilemma. They can't help that. They've got to tell other people. That can be quite obvious as well sometimes. Now, Pisces can also be completely blameless as well. So a dark side to them is that they... sometimes like they hate being judged by others, but at the same time they are quite judgmental and can be quite preachy. So there is a side to them that way. Now, Pisces can be very messy and disorganized as well. So they're just plain messy. A lot of them, their bedrooms can be quite messy. Their house can be quite messy. That's how they are. I don't see a lot of Pisces as like a fire energy. So in terms of like being famous, they tend to mooch off other people that are famous or have that light around them, like the moon energy. Remember, the moon has no light of its own, only bounces light off things, that reflective thing. Pisces get around people that make them feel powerful, and by default get that power off the other person. A really lazy Pisces can be like pretty much on Centrelink on the dole. They don't want to work because they don't want to take on responsibility. They just want to live in their bedroom. A lot of these guys live in their bedrooms and they love their beds. That's another thing I would say, moving into the darker side of them. A lot of Piscerian women don't acquire wealth from their own hard work. A lot of them get money from like child support or going through divorces, stuff like that. And Pisces go through lots of divorces. Like I've never come across a Pisces that hasn't had at least 1 or 2 ex-husbands. That's something that I have noticed about Pisces as well. And they can confuse emotion with objects. So some of them can get quite hoardy. They like to hoard stuff and they don't know how to let go. Yet again, we don't know how to let go. So they hold on to things that no longer feed them. And a really weak and dark-sided Pisces will always choose the side of least resistance. So they don't want to, some of them just, like I said, they struggle with the concept of this world that they're in. They don't want to really be a part of it. And at the same time, they want the benefits of life, but they don't want to work for it. So if you're out there now and you are a dark-sided Pisces and you refuse to partake in society, let me say this, you can't live in this world and not be a part of it. Okay, you are here. So if you're here, contribute. If you are here, it is your job in life not to carry energy or pain for other people, but to carry yourself and recognize and find your own gifts and be of service to other people, not just other people being of service to you. You're not entitled to other people's money. Okay, that's what I want to say. Now, this sign sexually, let's talk about Pisces sexually. You guys have the biggest reputation probably in the zodiac. You guys are absolute sex addicts, nymphs. I've never come across a Pisces that just doesn't like sex. And I've seen a lot of porn stars, like porn and film, television, Pisces. Generally, it would be Pisces in the video being the porn star, and Scorpio, it would be filming the fucking thing and making money out of it and capitalizing off you. A lot of Pisces are terrible with money, so that even if they did do porn or sex work, they tend to have no money left over because they just spend it all, or they give it away or give it to someone else. Like that's how a lot of them are. And yeah, so Nina Hartley was a Piscerian. They love to play the martyr as well. Nina Hartley was a very famous, one of the world's most famous porn stars, also a Piscerian. They tend to, as they get older, they'll be like sex positive workers where they go around and educate people on sex and stuff. And I think that's important. Nothing against it, but that's what they are. Now, a really dark-sided Pisces will use sex as a way to cope in life. So she'll have orgies, group sex, sex with her friends, kind of just sex to be friends is a real Pisces thing to do. Pisces having sex on the first date would probably be completely normal because to a Pisces, they need to know whether the second date is worth having. So they need to know whether you know how to fuck. So if you're going to be with a Pisces, you need to know how to fuck. Okay. And I'm not talking like missionary stuff. These guys are into rough sex. These guys are into S&M. Pisces is very much into deep feeling and connection. Now, I don't come across a lot of Pisces that are dominating. I come across a lot of Pisces that are very subservient or sub to their partner. So they'll be whips and chains, like Pisces, thinking Rihanna is a Pisces, and she, you know, that song, Whips and Chains Excite Me, that song that she wrote, there's so many that she's written about, you know, that dark side of sex. But one of the things that was interesting about Rihanna as a perfect case and point study of a Pisces or a dark-sided Pisces is that she had that big blowout that happened, that big controversy that happened with her boyfriend, Chris Brown. Remember that years ago where he bashed her very violently and she had like all bruised, bashed up face. And I'd often think to myself, knowing she's a Pisces and knowing a lot of my friends, male and female, are into like the rougher, darker side of sex, you know, did she egg him on? And then she got, oh shit, look what he's done to my face. He's gone too far kind of thing. Once the Pisces is in the moment, anything can, like once they really feel that deep receiving energy in sex, you could do anything to them. Like we're talking like putting you, like Scorpio, that's what Scorpio is very much about, control and possession. And we'll get onto that in the next sign video. But Pisces would be like tied up, whipped, put in a box, like we're talking freaky, weird shit here. Like Pisces, it's got to be mind games and stuff like that. Like that's why Scorpio likes to play with Pisces so much. That's why they get along so much. So yeah, I mean, often I think, did she egg him on too much, and then it went too far, and then she realized I can't be seen in public now, and then use that against him. So a dark side of Pisces, and I will say this, it is my truth that I've learned. A lot of the women, not that I am on any level, on any way, shape or form condoning any type of domestic violence, because I know all about it. I've been in it myself. What I can say is that Pisces tend to gravitate towards domestically violent relationships, and Pisces tend to date losers, straight up. And even if no one else around them, even if everyone else around them can see it, Pisces is the one that just can't see it. And I see it time and time again. But yes, a Pisces will push a man to breaking point, and then the man will snap, and then the man will go too far. And then she'll use that as leverage over him to control him and regain control in the relationship. It is a very dark, fucked up thing to do, to push a person to a level where they break, knowing that could happen. Not that I'm saying it is something that is normalized or something that I'm saying is okay, because it's not okay to hurt someone physically or abuse them, but knowing to just keep pushing someone's buttons is, to get them to go to that level is also, that's fucked up, and these guys, for the most part, in the darker side of Pisces are fucked up. Now, Pisces tend to be big time cheaters. They can have separate lives going on, much like the Gemini. You see, Pisces has a Piscerian man could have a wife and kids in another part of town, and his wife that he's with now wouldn't even know about it. They live a double life. A lot of them live double lives. They're very big on that. Like I said, they could be anyone. Like the Gemini, they could wake up and take on the attributes of anyone. A really weak Pisces will watch a movie and then want to be the girl in the movie, particularly if it's a really sexy, dreamy, idealistic, romantic girl. That would be a Pisces. I also think about Kesha. I know she's a Pisces, and a lot of her songs are about sex and getting drunk and stuff like that. Like, that's something that she would do. They like to put themselves on a pedestal as well, even if it's completely unobtainable to other people. A lot of Pisces tend to do that. I've noticed they have that dilemma, the pedestal dilemma. And a lot of people, when the Pisces falls and trips and stumbles, they come crashing down, and the other person doesn't see them the way that Pisces wanted them to, because they've created an illusion around how they're perceived. That's big on Pisces. That's a big part of Pisces. Now, a lot of Pisces are just basically the quintessential drug addict, the quintessential pill popper. They love popping pills. A lot of mums pick up their kids from school. These guys play around with the hard stuff. Capricorn will play around with a bit of marijuana, a bit of pot, bit of weed, the herb. Yeah, no. Pisces is more like the hard shit, like crystal methamphetamine, MDMA, heroin. Heroin to a Pisces would be like, when I think of the word heroin, I think of Pisces. I think of I've never been in that state with heroin before. I don't want to incriminate myself on this video, but I know I could imagine what it would feel like. And I had a friend once explain to me that it's like running a marathon and then taking off your clothes, swimming in the ocean in a storm, and then getting dry, and then getting into a soft, big king bed with beautiful, crisp sheets, like fresh sheets, and just sleeping. That is what it feels like to be on heroin, from what I've been told. And even just saying that right there, that even how I just worded that would make a Pisces go, oh, I want to do that. Because that's the thing. Pisces wants to go so far out of this world that they don't know how to come back. They've gone so far out, they don't know where they've gone. That's one thing I've noticed. I've got a couple of friends that are Pisces that are into they're into the exciting thing that they're into, that they find exciting, is breaking different higher levels of consciousness, that takes a lot of discipline to be able to do that with their meditation or work. But when a Pisces can do that, they start to ascend and go higher and higher and higher. And if you ever see the scene out of the movie Lucy with, Scarlett Johansson, where she does this thing where she merges with this energy and she goes back and just rewinds time. That's that's something that a Pisces would love, because it's just breaking through all the barriers and all of the periods of time that have taken place. So yeah, that's how they are. Now, Pisces love shopping. They love shopping. They love going shopping. The quintessential Pisces girl, a really low functioning one, would be like Kelly from the Valley, where we're going to have a situation and we're going to go shopping. Like that would be, yeah, a real, and they're like, wearing wigs and stuff like that. They love getting dressed up. Pisces love getting fucked in high heel shoes. They love getting dressed up in costumes and getting fucked. They want to keep the mask on. Hey, I get it. It's kinky. But yeah, the dark side of Pisces is basically a pusher. So they'll want you to partake in the use of drugs with them so that they themselves can make you become another drug mule for them. You'll be able to carry drugs for them, or you'll be able to supply more drugs to them. That's why they want you to do it with them. And they'll do stuff like, I've even had Pisces, during sex say, hey, can we do this with drugs? I'm like, fuck no. Why the hell would I want to be with someone who isn't even present with me during sex? So that's crazy. But to a Pisces, a dark Pisces, that would be normal because they want to take me on a magical carpet ride. They want to take me out into space, and they want me to float around in space with them. And I just can't do that. I just won't do it. Anything hypnotic like that, they love that. Even some Pisces would probably be into like being hypnotized and shit. They'd love that because then they could be a slave. Pisces love to be slaves. These guys are slaves. Oh, God. Pisces, I had a friend once. I had a very close friend who was a Pisces, and I learned a lot from him. He was a very beautiful soul, very sweet soul, but just struggled with life in general and didn't respect my boundaries. So these guys will come over and they will maybe to eat all the fridge out of your cupboard. They could, walk on your rug that you've bought with their shoes on. A really low functioning Pisces might light up a cigarette inside your house when you've asked them not to. They may even get to a point, and I actually can quote in this situation where he actually tried to put out his cigarette on my bedside table and just thought that was normal. A lot of Pisces that are really the dark side of them, they don't acquire a lot in the physical world. Their whole life might just be in a suitcase, or it might be in a plastic bag. A lot of them that have transcended the physical world don't really have interest in physical objects as such. So they may have a few little things like a toiletry bag. And I often think to myself, and they'll carry that around with them, like these guys don't die rich. And that's that whole artist thing as well. Like they're hippies, they're bums, they're on the side of the road trying to bum a light, trying to bum a ride, that type of thing. A dark-sided Pisces is Jesus. Well, I don't think Jesus obviously wasn't dark-sided, but they like to be the martyr as well. These guys have a martyr complex. Virgo has the Madonna whore complex, but Pisces has the martyr complex. That's just a big part of how they are. And yeah, so they tend to be the one on the out all the time, and after a while in a group of friends give up on Pisces a lot of the time because in a group of friends, like, they'll try and get a group brunch going, or they'll try and meet up and Pisces won't show, or Pisces wasn't available. They're just out of it all the time. So they wouldn't be there. And their friends would be like, just kind of leave them behind out of the loop because they just know that Pisces somehow is going to fuck it up. Pisces, like Capricorn, go walkabout as well. So a lot of them disappear. They're very good at playing a disappearing act. So you may not hear from them for like 3 months, 3 weeks, could even be a year. They'll pop up as if nothing's happened, and they wouldn't even know why. Like they just have, and who knows where they go? Who knows what they do? I don't even know if they know. They're very much like that. And if you ask a Pisces a question that they think is none of your business, they won't do it in an aggressive way, but they will lie to your face without flinching because they believe that it's none of your business. And that's how they are. They have this other world going on in their head, and that's what they want to do. They just want to live in that world and not be a part of this world. So in a workplace, a lot of them, they tend to go through so many jobs. They'll go through bartending, dancing, stripper poles. A lot of them end up on stripper poles. Like I said, a lot of like people go to Hollywood that are Piscerian, or they go to Vegas. Vegas would be another place that would be full of Pisces as well. So it's just that whole illusion, like going to a place where it's, something else that's distorted from what you think it is. And That's how they are. These guys love makeup and lipstick. A lot of them are into cosmetics. That's how they are. They'll even put lipstick on to like talk on the phone. Like some of them really like to get into those characters. I think of Drew Barrymore, who was a Pisces as well, and she was a drug addict, but it wasn't really her fault. I don't see her as a dark-sided Pisces, but that would be an example, another example. Always Andy Warhol, it was noted that he was around a lot of Pisces, a lot of artists, these guys going to galleries. And I had another Pisces friend that I hadn't spoken to in a while, and I was really quite saddened this year to find out that he had also had cardiac arrest from a drug-induced binge that he was on. And at some point I recognized I couldn't hold space for him anymore because he was destructive to me, and I would try and pick him up and try and meet him at the station or give him money or try and help him, but he just couldn't. And I'm an artist too, and I have a lot of friends that are like that. Like I said at the start of the video, I've got a lot of friends that are Pisces, but a lot of the darker ones or the ones that just can't exist, I understand how they got to that point, and I hold space for them, but I can't excuse them for hurting me. And that's when the line in the sand gets drawn. And when they start getting deceptive and sneaky, the other Pisces that I let go of, I had money. I used to have money. I used to hide in like a cookie jar in my house. And it was like my float from all my readings and all my sessions I was doing at the time, because that's how I was supporting myself, doing my readings. And I would go and count my float money, and it would be out like a couple of hundred and I think I thought I had more than that, and I realized very quickly over time I realized that he had been stealing from me. So a lot of them are kleptos as well. They steal. Pisces is a sign, like I said, with that boundless thing. They'll just go into your clothes and just into your wardrobe and just take whatever they want out of their mum or father's, brothers, cousins, sisters' wardrobe. They won't. They don't think about it. It's not coming from a vicious place. It's just that they don't understand boundaries. So they just don't understand boundaries at all. Like they'll walk in where you're on the toilet. They don't care. Like they just don't have boundary. That's a dark-sided Pisces. So. They probably won't give it back, and if they do give it back, it'll all be like your clothes will be ripped or broken. That's how they are. They have secret relationships behind your back. So, and it's not because they don't love you. It's just because, not that I'm justifying cheating, because it is deceptive and it is painful and brutal, but it's just because the other person gives them another part of themselves that they need. So that's what they do. They understand, as a Pisces understands, you can't expect one being to fulfill all your needs in life. That's just completely ridiculous. So Pisces they're like a magpie. They pick and choose these little relationships with everyone around them, and they create a way for them to coexist with all of these relationships existing at one time. And the thing about them, and Gemini does this as well, is that they'll all coexist at one time, and none of them will ever know about each other, that they're all existing at the same time, if that makes sense. So it's like parallel lines on a train track, both running in the same direction, but they never touch. It's like that. That's probably the best analogy I could give you in terms of how they make relationships with other people. So. Yeah, I hope that you're enjoying this video, Pisces. I'm trying to be as kind as I can, but also as real as I can. So if you are a dark-sided Pisces and you're taking someone's stuff and you're freeloading and you're a leech and you're a moocher, and you know it, stop doing it, for goodness sake. Stop freeloading off everyone. If you're a Pisces and you're living on someone's couch, for fuck's sake, get your own place, get yourself to get your shit together. If you're going to borrow money off people, Pisces, you don't like it when other people don't give it back to you, so you should give back what they give you. Pisces, by the way, are terrible with birthdays. They always forget your birthday, and don't take it personally. I don't take it personally. I've had Pisces, a few Pisces in my life that I know, 5 years in a row, every year they just forget. Like they're just hopeless like that. Anything that exists in like the physical world, like I said, they just can't function. They just don't get it. That's how they are. Don't hold that against them either. I'm not excusing bad behavior, but they're just prone to such levels of escapism. Like even posting a letter in the mail, they'd rebel. And Pisces like to rebel against authority. the natural state of a Pisces is an anarchist, just like the Sagittarian. They want to see the world burn because they know that the world is fucked, and the only way to rebuild it is to pull it down and destroy it so it can be rebuilt. So this is one side that is not afraid of the dark side. These guys know that you've got to have that Tower card in the tarot for things to rebuild. And so they know that when something isn't being built on something solid, it will collapse. And that kind of excites them a little bit. So a lot of them are into like politics, and that yet again they've got to be thrown into something and be completely absorbed by it. They have to be deeply obsessed with it. Like we're talking hardcore levels of obsession, like staying up all night campaigning. When a Pisces is in their zone, I'll give you a hot tip. If they're in their studio and they're working and the door's shut, respect the artist, respect the Pisces, let them do what they need to do. Don't interrupt them. Even if it seems completely sloppy and messy and distorted and chaotic to you, in the Pisces mind, it's neat and it's perfect. So just leave it. That's how they are. They'll know where things are. But generally, a darker-sided Pisces that hasn't acquired anything contributes nothing to the world. And that's one of their darker sides, is that they just sit back and someone else will show up and take care of me. And that's as good as it's going to get. And that's fucked. A lot of them, yeah, they're a starving artist. The martyr, that's the thing. Also, when it comes to artwork, they are deeply hurt when it comes to someone else criticizing their work or someone trying to change their work. They have a hard time because they operate from the heart chakra. They have a really hard time taking on feedback. So when you're giving a Pisces, even now in this video, if I was to just go in really hard like I have in the other videos, it would be instantly rejected. They wouldn't even be watching. They wouldn't even have made it this far into the video. So you have to come at it from a place that is a more of a sensitive, considerate place that comes from a place of love, even if we're talking about their shadow. And that's what I'm trying to do. I had a Pisces friend who was a very talented artist, and these guys are fucking talented. They could paint like anything that looks like, whip it up quick and it looks amazing. That's what they're good, like very good with style. Pisces have a great sense of style like that. And one of his biggest like dark sides was he'd make these beautiful paintings, and then I'd go into his studio and he'd like run over them with paint and destroy them. He's like, I hate it. I destroyed it. Oh my God, I can't let this be seen. And he'd like destroy the painting. It's like, whoa, that was amazing. What are you doing? You spent all this time working on it. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care, because Pisces don't care about time. They don't care about time. They go over time. They show up late. They show up early. They're always like over or under time. So he sees energy as the exchange that he's dealing with, not time. That's how Pisces operate. And in the outside world, that gets completely exploited because the world operates in a different way to the Pisces, you see. So he was having meltdowns, and it's like, he's just so hard on himself. And it's like in his mind, it's like the Pisces artist, like, nobody understands me. Oh my God, no one gets me. Like that's a Pisces thing. So they're very hard on themselves when it comes to putting their work out. For a Pisces to put their work out in the world, that is like a big thing for them. It's like it's a very personal thing, because it becomes no longer theirs. It goes off into the world and it's going to be ripped apart and judged and stuff. But for the most part, Pisces men tend to believe that they are superheroes in their mind. They have this superhuman powers, or they have like psychic levels of ability. And, that's just how they are. A dark Pisces will think that they are psychic, but they're not. They're just pretending. They can be the charlatan. They can get all mixed up in all of that like aesthetic of like fortune telling and crystal balls and purple silk and all that. But underneath it, when it comes down to it, I mean, can you actually pick up information? We're talking names, street signs, dates of birth, stuff like that you couldn't possibly know. And that's my thing. If you can't do that and you're claiming to be psychic and you can't produce those levels of accuracy, then you need to work on your psychic level. Or you need to stop doing it, because you can cause a lot of trouble, particularly Pisces, when they do that. A light-sided Pisces would never give information out to someone unless it was coming from a place of a higher place for the other person. That's why I would trust going to a psychic that would be a Pisces more than I would trust any other sign. It's just how they are. Now, Pisces go through these really big phases where they feel incredibly inspired and incredibly enlightened. And then they go through this phase where they feel completely annoyed, completely uninspired, and everything's fucked. And it's usually one and they're completely unmotivated. So when they're on, they're on. When they're off, they're way off. And it takes them a long time to, get back. So it's like bursts of brilliance, and then they just go back into nothing. And they just spiral, and they'll pull you into that dark hole because, like I said, they're professional victims. They've always got an illness. They've got like a hypochondriac, like a fucking Virgo. They've always got like, it's harboring, and a lot of it is self-induced. So all this negative energy has got to go somewhere, and it goes into their health. It goes into their body. It goes into their stomach. It goes into their ovaries. It goes into their breasts. Like it goes into wherever the fuck it goes. So a lot of them, like they spend a lot of time in the hospital. A lot of Pisces are born very sick. I've noticed there's a lot of what we call in the spiritual community walk-ins, where a Pisces comes into this life and dies very quickly. They don't live very long. Maybe it was just all too much. Maybe being here and existing was too much. Of course it is. It's very hard to be here. But a lot of them have very lengthy bouts of depression, very lengthy bouts of mental illness, like psychiatric time at the hospital. A lot of them are on antidepressants. A lot of them are under some level of treatment. That's how a lot of them are. The dark side of a Pisces is an enabler. So they will be looking for other people to enable them, or they're looking to be enabled by others. So they'll be attracting those types of people because it's the pity party. They're always throwing pity parties to themselves. And I've had this pulled on me a few times, actually. I once ended up trying to date a Pisces, and after it didn't like feel right for me, and I decided not to pursue it. All I ended up getting was just like, you don't love me, you don't want me because no one wants me, everything, I'm fucked, I'm sorry, I'm so fucked up, I couldn't be that thing for you. They do that, try and manipulate. It doesn't work on me because I know what they're doing, because I'm hyper I'm able to see what they're doing. But yeah, they use the sensitivity of stuff and then turn it back on you. They like to make people feel guilty as well. They're very good at making people feel guilty. That's how they are. Now, Pisces can be haunted by spirits as well. A lot of, because like I said, they're with the mental illness. By the way, with a lot of mental illness, it's actually not mentally ill. It's actually, they're tapped into a high level of like frequency, like a radio signal station. They're channeling stuff that's coming from another place. And to the outside world, that appears as like schizophrenia, but it's not. It's actually spirits. And so if you get dark spirits can latch onto Pisces very easily. So there's a lot of paranormal activity that goes around Pisces. And I have seen this myself. I've been in the car once with a Pisces, and she was having a fit in the back seat, a complete and utter meltdown. And I was sitting in the front seat with my friend, and we were driving her to hospital. And we were in the city, and all of a sudden the radio station started scrambling, like zzz, and it started going on to other stations. And she was sitting in the back of the car, and I was just like, holy mother of shit, what is going on here? Whoa, that is the power of Pisces. And it didn't feel good either. It did not feel good. There was like another energy in the car with us as well. And I would say it was because she'd had brought it in with her. So, because when your crown chakra is open, and Pisces is just born naturally open, you become like a lightning rod for all of this spiritual activity to want to connect with you. And sometimes, or in a lot of cases, that spiritual activity is not good. And I've always believed when it comes to ghosts that you can't, like an angry ghost will gravitate towards an angry person, because the ghost recognizes the anger in the other person that's consciously here in the physical world, and they can't express that because a ghost is incorporeal. So what they try and do is they latch onto the physical person that's angry, and then they get to play out that anger through a physical person. That's one of the things that I've noticed, particularly around Pisces with their dark spirits and shit. I've noticed a lot of that as well. So yeah. So anything that threatens the emotional security of a Pisces, they will turn on you. They can be very snappy. Pisces can be very snappy. They can be prone to that, much like Cancer and Scorpio can. So sometimes, they can bite the hand that feeds them. They will have big blowouts with their parents a lot of the time. That whole judging me thing, please don't judge me, but it's quite hard. Sometimes I see Pisces as the fish or the shark, or the fish and the swordfish. And the swordfish is like an aggressive, like it has an aggressive energy to it with the nozzle is very sharp. And of course the shark, I mean, God, it's the king of the sea really in that regard. But a lot of them, when I see this for the Pisces men, is that the shadow side of a Pisces, deep down, they are sensitive, over emotional beings that recognize that you're not allowed to cry as a man. You know, society kind of tells men you're not allowed to. So what they do is they project this like a character. So a lot of Pisces men will be at the gym late at night, pumping the weights, eating a chicken a day, trying to get bigger. They're doing it because, or getting lots of tattoos. Pisces love tattoos. They love piercings. They love body modifications, anything that scarification, anything that involves changing and distorting the way that they're seen to others or seeing themselves in the mirror. They do that a lot. And yeah, the Pisces men will have really big arms and really big tats, but underneath it, you know, it's just an aesthetic. They love aesthetic. They're very aesthetic orientated. I've noticed the darker ones. So they like to project that they're really rough and tough, but underneath it, like in a knife fight, they're not going to be able to handle themselves. It's just an act. It's a shell. It's a protection or a coping mechanism. I've seen a lot of Cancerians do that as well. It's quite a common thing. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good way. I feel like I've really kind of hit a lot of stuff on the mark with Pisces. So yeah, the sharks and the Pisces, like, you know, you don't forget them. I've come across a lot that are both, and I wouldn't be, you know, I wouldn't forget them. But yes, Pisces has a hard time being here, and that's just how they are. You know, they really struggle with reality, and it's hard for them to articulate or explain things. So they get around people that can explain stuff for them or make them feel seen. And going into a Pisces kid's bedroom would be full of toys and posters. And as they go through those teenage years, they'll have lots of different cutout things that they'll put on the wall. And it's lots of different things that Pisces sees in the world that they want to integrate into themselves more. So it could be like an archetype or a person. That's very normal. And yeah, an older Pisces can have a lot of wisdom, much like a Scorpio can. They really can. And Pisces don't like being competitive. They're not a competition sign. They're not gonna get in the race with you. Pisces is more interested, like Virgo. They just want to run their own race. They're not really interested in like competing. That's not really a Pisces thing. But yeah, a male Pisces that's really lost his way in the world. They are lost. They're lost souls. And a lot of the male Pisces that just can't figure out who they are, or they lose motivation. They just feel like they're not good enough to be here. They're not good enough to get a job. They're not good enough to pay the bills. And unfortunately, when a Pisces has procreated and has kids, and the Pisces can't feed themselves, they become very poor parents as well. And I've got a couple of Pisces people that I know that are very childish, female Pisces, and they spend more time like doing their makeup and trying to look pretty and going out and being extroverted and being a character and always getting validation. A very weak Pisces needs constant attention, constant validation. You need to constantly make them feel in love. They need to feel like they're drowning and swimming in a sea of love. That's how they are. And when they don't get that, or if you can't keep that up for them, they'll find someone else who can. But that's how they are. Raising kids, a really dark-sided Pisces woman will be the mother that pretends she doesn't have any kids. So she'll go dating and she'll dress up, you know, very good, go out, but she won't ever tell a man that she's dating that she has her own kids from a previous relationship or a previous partner's marriage, whatever. She kind of keeps the kids as a hidden away kind of thing. Like I've noticed that with some Pisces as well. Very immature, a lot of the young Pisces. Even my head there, some of them aren't even a shark. They're just a little guppy fish. A lot of them are just very fishy. You know, that's a dark side. That's a dark side of them. So I hope that this video was, you know, really insightful. I've really tried to include a lot that as much as I can and think of right now at this time. Of course, I've always got more to say. There's always more going on in my head about this, our fishy friends, the Piscerians. So if you know a Pisces or you have one in your life, then this video hopefully could be insightful. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see when I put more videos up. And I will see you in the next video, and we are moving on into the last sign of the water signs. We are looking at my sign, Scorpio, and that one I'm going to need a double scotch for. So I'll see you then. Bye guys, bye.